Good evening, y'all. Yours truly, Dr. Barry Pierre, favorite board certified internist. Welcome to another episode of Real Physician Reacts. This is our weekly live series where we come on here and talk about something that just like either comes across my social media feed or something that like someone directly sends me that they say I need to talk about. Now, I'll be honest, the reason why I chose tonight's topic was because every time I got on TikTok, I would either see an ad, I would either see one of my TikTok shoppers promoting it. I felt like almost every 10 videos someone was talking about this like coconut pulling oil and how amazing it was, right? It was a lot of just like whitening teeth and all this other stuff here. Now, again, me as a physician, right? Like I'm asking questions like, okay, like, is this just a very good ad campaign happening here? Or is this something that like I should be telling, people who follow me, like, hey, maybe you should be interested in this, right? Because this is the typical process that occurs. Something gets very popular on social media, and then my patients start asking me, should they do the thing that they saw was extremely popular, right? Like that's usually how it goes. And what I usually have to do is I say, you know what, let me go do my research. Let me ask my questions and try to figure out, because I never want to steer anyone wrong. Now, let me start off because I want to make sure it's very loud and clear, because I don't want the natural folks and that crowd, right? I don't want that crowd to be like, oh, here comes another physician against anything that's not like prescribed medicine and whatever, like, pharma, fill in the blanks. I don't want you guys to put me in that boat, right? I just got questions, right, when I see this. And again, it may be just my feed, right? Because obviously, as a physician, I tend to see more health-related things. So maybe TikTok's just letting me know, like, hey, since you're a physician, you like talking about health stuff, like I'm going to keep showing you videos like this. I don't know how many people see these videos like this. I don't know if this is going to be the first time you've even seen this like Guru Nanda natural whitening pull. Like, I don't know if this might be the first time you see it. If it is, I think you're in for a treat today. Because I think we again, there's some questions that have to be asked, right? So let me just give you the foundation. I'll give you the foundation, the premise of what I typically see when I see one of these videos. It is either, right, a TikTok shopper talking about how they used to have, cavities and all this other stuff in their teeth, and they use this for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden they don't need to go see a dentist anymore. They don't have any cavities. They don't have any more teeth pain. Like just boom, miracle, right? Miracle. Or I typically will see those like who I guess like there's this one guy, I don't even know this guy's name, but I don't know if he runs the company. I don't know if he's a part of this Guru Nanda stuff. I see him. He's doing his little promotion thing as well. So I see all these people, right? Just hyping this oil. So again, I always have to ask the question, right? Again, I am not here to be, Debbie Downer. I'm just here to ask the questions. Like, first of all, what do we have that's available? Right? Like what's available, like outside of this natural whitening? Sure. Cool. Got it. What do we have that's readily available now that kind of does the things or says the things that it does? Right. And this is where you have your typical mouthwashes, right? Your Listerines, your Colgates, you have that class of medications here. And then, of course, like everything, you have the alternative. And as a physician, we tend to run into a lot, especially in this day and age where, information is extremely accessible, readily accessible. We tend to run into a lot of people who want the alternative. I don't know if it's to spite what the original is doing, but they just want the alternative. They want to see what the alternative is. And more importantly, the people who typically do the alternative, like this company here, they do a good job at promoting, right? Like if you go in your web search right now and you look up coconut, because I do it, like coconut oil pulling, this Guru Nanda is one of the first thing that pulls up on Google. It's one of the first thing that pulls up on Amazon. And it's like I said, for me, at least on my timeline, it is completely taking over the timeline. Completely taking over timeline to the point where I'm like, oh, like I wish TikTok had a function where I could low key turn off people who were doing the TikTok shops. Right? I wish, again, not to say that I'm hating, right? I'm not, right? Again, I want people to get their money, right? I want people to promote. I'm with you. But when I see so many people kind of pushing the same thing, I get scared, right? Like I get scared. Like that's what it is with me, right? So of course, from a scientific standpoint, I start looking at like, okay, what have kind of the scientists or what are the studies have shown, right? And if you look up, I'm a big friend of PubMed, right? So if you look up, PubMed and you say coconut oil versus, regular mouthwash, right? And you try to see, thank you, Ms. Cruz, appreciate that. And you try to see what are the alternatives, what has been done. Like there are studies back from 2010. So this isn't a new thing, right? I want to make sure people are aware. This isn't like this new thing that came out of nowhere. It's just like got really popular on Twitter all of a sudden. So I want to make sure we're very well aware. So I'm on the site right now. The National Library of Medicine, right, where it talks about, and this was a study done in August of 2023, where it looked at the effect of oil pulling in comparison with chlorhexidine, that's our typical Listerine, and other mouthwash interventions in promoting oral health. Because at the end of the day, I want everyone to have great physical health, mental health, oral health, spiritual wealth, all of the health combined. I want you to be maximized. And I understand, like my dentist friends will tell you, oral health is expensive. Like we're not going to act like it's not an expensive endeavor to try to, have great teeth, white teeth, straight teeth. Like it's extremely expensive from that standpoint there. But when you see, when I see it so publicized, I'm like, oh, let me just make sure, I don't want no one to run into a scam. So this study looked at oil pulling in terms of several interventions, gum health, gingival health, gum health, plaque control, bacteria counts against the other mouthwashes. And they looked at 25 different trials, over 1,000 different participants, right? So it's a good number of people. So just so we know, right? Because sometimes you'll go to a study and it'll be like 10 people, 20 people. Like this is about 1,000 people, 25 different trials. It looked at from a range of 7 to 45 days, which also is for any of these things, this whitening thing, Listerine, all of those things there. You can't just use it 1 or 2 days and expect to get benefits. So it looked at for 7 days to about 45 days. So if anyone has gotten this here, I would not expect to see immediate results, right? You should not expect to see immediate results. This should be something you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to have to probably use this for a few weeks, right? Let's say a whole month to make sure I'm getting at least the max benefit, because I don't want people quitting early and saying oh man, I tried it for 1 week and it don't work. And the conclusion that this most recent, and like I said, there's been several studies, but the conclusion that this most recent study showed that the probable benefit of oil pulling in improving gingival health, was probable, meaning that hit or miss. And again, gingival health is gum disease, bacteria counts. That's how they were kind of counting it. In regards to the standard chlorhexidine, again, that's your Listerine and whatnot. The Listerines, right, your typical mouthwash is superior in reducing plaque in comparison to oil pulling. Now, where they said this natural supplement may have some benefit is for because I noticed a lot of people talked about cavities and stuff like that. They do see some benefit. Is it is the Listerine 1,000 times better than the oil pulling? No, but it is better. It is an improvement, right? You do see if I had to lean one way, if you told me I can only choose one, yeah, I can see some benefit here. Now, what you'll see a benefit, especially with this oil pulling, especially the whitening aspect of it, is a lot of those mouthwashes, that's not really their thing. They don't really focus on the whitening aspect of it. So this one, even this study here says like, yeah, you're going to get some benefit for teeth whitening. You're going to get some benefit from more fresh breath, light fresh breath. You're going to get some benefit there. Like if you lean towards this side here, but in terms of overall health, you're just as good as using the Listerine and other products. Now, I've seen some videos, right? I saw some, because like I said, I'm watching the TikTokers, right? And I've seen some videos say that, using Listerine and all these other medications are absolutely terrible for you. They kill your teeth and all these things here. I'm not a dentist, right? So we won't go as far as saying like it's going to kill your teeth, but at least the studies that I'm seeing here, and I've read a few of them, isn't showing that drastic, like dire approach. Like, oh my God, you should definitely stay away from those, Crest, Listerine. You should definitely stay away from those. We're not seeing the results in that dramatic fashion, right? So if you ask me, hey, like if I like, because I saw someone say they ordered it, right? Like if you order it, like what should you expect? I do think you're going to see an improvement. Especially as far as the whitening aspect of it, you will likely see some, gum disease improvement, like that gingival health, but you're going to have to use it for at least, and like from studies, at least 30 to 40 days. So you should expect to have to use this for at least a month straight, 1 month to 2 months before you really start, sorry about that, before it really starts turning the corner. Now, if you got, let's say you got cavities right now. If you got cavities right now, I'm not going to tell you to get something like this here and don't worry about going to the dentist. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like the numbers that they looked at and the people that they looked at here, majority of the trials reported people who had no prior oral health conditions. So these are people who didn't have cavities and all these other, oral related problems that, some people on TikTok are saying this thing completely solves. Like it didn't have that. Majority of the people that they looked at were people who already had good oral health, and they were just like, hey, I'm going to try something different. So this is one of those things where if you're going to try this, right, one, like I want you to have a baseline where you don't have like significant, poor oral health, poor oral dentition, known cavities, because you're not going to get the best bang for your buck using something like this here. It's not going to happen. The studies don't show that. Now there's some anecdotal, even when you go to the Guru Nada, because like I said, I like to do my research, right? So I'm going to their actual website and just kind of seeing their testimonials and what they're saying here. Let me see if I can pull up some of their testimony, because they obviously they have this pulling oil, but they got toothbrushes, they got gum, they got for everything, right? So this is a supplement company that I'm pretty sure has to be making a good amount of money because they are everywhere. And like I said, we've been talking about brushing, tongue scraping, flossing. So they have a whole line of products here, right? So I don't want us to fall for the marketing and not focus on the actual results that we're supposed to get from this. And then I'm just let me see here. Yeah, all these people that is, like I said, good advertisement here. Let me see if I can read our about us. Yeah, I'm not seeing like what they should have is a good testimonial section. That would really do it. But yeah, I'm not seeing like a testimonial section or anything. Just a lot of just kind of general when did it start, how did it start, and everything else from that standpoint here. So, like, I just felt like I just had to talk about it this week because I was going to talk about something else, right? There was this ER doc talking crazy about Black patients. I was going to talk about that, but I'll probably do a whole video on that. I said I don't want to do it live, but I just wanted to, I just had to talk about this here, right? Because one, I was so tired of seeing it on my timeline that I figured, all right, I got to do some research and make an extended video, just so if in case someone across my timeline sees this or who listens to the podcast or watches the video sees it, say, all right, I keep seeing this ad everywhere, let me go buy it, right? Because again, the TikTok shop, right, it's addictive, right? It'll have you clicking that button and then getting this, pulling oil solution at your house in 2 weeks. It'll do that. But I want people who've gotten it. 'Cause I know some people on this chat got it. If you got it, understand that you should have a baseline of good oral health. That's one. You should not expect, reversing tooth decay and things like. You shouldn't expect it to change your whole mouth structure, right? Will it help with whitening? Yes. Can it help with soothing some gum related issues as far as pain and discomfort? Yes, just because of that's how the function of this pulling oil works, right? Definitely should work, right? But would I tell you take this versus our typical stuff that you can get, over the counter right now? No, there's not enough information right now for me to tell you stop taking, the typical brand name stuff here and only take something and again, right now on TikTok, this is the number one advertiser. There's a whole bunch of other companies that do this. This company isn't the only company that does this. It's just happens to be probably the number one company that's making money or selling ads on TikTok. Because like I said, I cannot get away from it, right? It's just unfortunate, right? But it is what it is. Advertising is advertising. Again, I don't want the people who are affiliates of Guru Nanda. At first, I apologize if I'm even pronouncing that wrong. Sorry. I don't want y'all to come in my comments or my videos and say mean things to me. Please don't do that. I don't want you to you don't need to send me no samples. I'm cool on that as well. I'm cool on all of that. I'm probably, and I'm thinking about it now, I'm probably going to get one of my dentist friends to either come on a live with me here or probably on the podcast, one or the other, right? So for those who don't know, I do this every Thursday. This episode will be on the podcast tomorrow. I'm gonna get one of my dentist friends to talk about this because I think it's a very good question. Because I know a lot of people, clearly a lot of people are feeling it. So we're gonna get that, right? So I'm gonna hop off, right? It's gonna be a quick live session tonight. We're not going to do too much talking tonight because I got some plans for tomorrow. But expect to see some videos for tomorrow. Again, make sure you follow. Appreciate all the shares. Appreciate all the likes, the hearts, the roses. Much appreciated. Again, final synopsis. If you've gotten this Guru Nada, expect to have to use this for at least 4 to 6 weeks to get maximum benefit. And I was looking to see from a study perspective, what happens if you stop it, right? Because that's always a question I get anytime I get medications, right? All right, yeah, it's good while I'm taking it, but what happens if I stop it? I don't see any studies that talk about any rebound effect, because that's a good question. If I stop taking it abruptly, will every benefit I got, will the teeth whitening go back to yellow? Will all, my gums, start hurting again? There's no studies that show that, but I would have to believe that if the medication and what it does causes those things to kind of, change direction, I would have to believe that if you stop using it, right, and you don't change, maybe you're a coffee drinker, right? Maybe, you eat a lot of candy and sweets or something. If you don't change the initial thing that caused the problems in the first place, I think they'll all be coming back, right? And that's the big thing, especially with these types of remedies and treatments, because a lot of times they will treat the end result, but not necessarily treat the problem. So if you have issues with, poor, tooth discoloration, you have issues with cavities, you've had issues with, gums bleeding and everything. If you have issues with that, but the reason why you have issues is your diet, or maybe there's a medical disease, diabetes, diabetes is a big one that results in that. If you have those issues and you don't necessarily take care of those issues, all these pulling oils, these Listerines, these whitening, toothpaste and all this does is putting the Band-Aid on it, but not necessarily solving the problem. If you can, right, consult with a professional, right? In particular, if you have a dentist in your area. I know the dentists are expensive. If you don't got no dentist in your area, community health clinics, right? That's another option as well. If you have the ability to be around one of these dental schools, that's another hack. because a lot of the dental students who, when they're learning, they need people to kind of, learn on. Now, mind you, again, I'm a physician, right? So I understand what it means to be a medical student, then a medical resident, and then a physician, right? So we learn, right? We learn. So like that's an option as well, especially if the cost of going to like a dentist is prohibitive, right? Like that's all I ask, right? So again, I appreciate everyone joining. Y'all be blessed. Have a great evening. Make sure you like, make sure you follow, and I'm gonna see you guys next week.